Hi, I'm Streaky from Streaky.com. Today, I'm reviewing the NS10 replacement AVANTONE CLA10s. So I'm Streaky, I'm a mastering engineer from London. I've been mastering about 25 years for super high-end people, super low-end people, mainly people in between. So I'm here most days talking about pro audio equipment, mastering, mixing, hi-fi I'm into too, room acoustics, all the kind of things that you're into if you like pro audio and music and listening to music. So today I'm reviewing, for your pleasure, the NS10 replacement, which is the CLA10. Now, the CLA stands for Chris Lord-Alge. He's a mix engineer in America. I'm sure you're probably aware of him. He's got together with AVANTONE to bring out a Yamaha replacement. So Yamaha stopped making the NS10s in the early 2000s. So all the people that loved them for mixing then were stuck with whatever spares were left around. And to be totally honest, my pair that I've got, well, I've got a couple of pairs, they're a kind of Frankenstein of a few different ones. So there's a lot of sort of studio ones, there's loads of different tweeters around, different types over the years, mismatched pairs and stuff. So it's nice, I think, to be able to get a refresh and a look. And why not? People want them. People have always wanted them. It obviously doesn't make sense to Yamaha, but a smaller company like this that's more dedicated, then it must make financial sense. So these retail for around $760, about £600. They look pretty similar to the old ones, may I say. They look exactly the same. The casing looks pretty similar. It's a closed box design on the back now, as you can see, whereas with the old one that I prepared earlier, they're a bit battered, aren't they? You can see that these were closed box, but you can see that you could kind of take the back off if you want. With these ones that you can see here, I've actually modded them and put some different gold screws on the back where before they just had the sort of pins going in. Like I say, there's so many different versions of NS10s. I've actually got some little fronts on these. So these, because they've got the front, I won't go into the full history of NS10s. I could bore you for hours. But because these have got the pinholes in the front and these, that means they're not studio ones. They are, the boxes themselves are the kind of bookshelf ones that stand up that way. So that's a way of telling those. But there is literally a whole world of NS10 geeks online that can give you every detail on every different model. So really, these ones are the ones that we're caring about. And this has got the studio tweeter on it, which was developed later on in life for NS10s. And the cone, which you see here, is now all one cone, where before they were a piece of paper that was linked up and there's a little like join in them there. So people have said that they're going to sound different for that reason. The reason why they stopped making these NS10s, I think, was because of this paper. They couldn't get the paper, allegedly. So the feel is totally different. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do a comparison right now because I could go on. But I'm going to do this as a two-part video. So what I'm going to do, I've got a couple of pairs of these. I've got some studio versions of these, so they should be directly the same. Part 2 of this video will be me doing a comparison of the two. So I'll get into much more detail on that video and tell you how they're sounding, bouncing off each other. Hopefully I'll be able to record them on the mic and be able to show you that. So that'll be part 2. So on to part 1. So that is the difference in the cone. So they're a nice looking box. They've got on the back there, as you can see, they've got these kind of more pro connectors. The one thing I don't like is this massive sticker on them. I think they've made that too big, to be honest. It's kind of a bit in your face, makes them look a little bit cheap. I would rather have had something that's kind of squared off and kind of NS10-y. So really, if I bought these, I'd probably just take the bits out and put them in my old boxes, but because then it's like a nice refresh. But they do look nice. They feel exactly the same. They're exactly the same size. I don't see how they can be any different. Now, I have listened to this pair and I haven't played them for a long, massive amount of time, so I don't know if there is a burn-in period where they're going to sound better. Most speakers do need a bit of a burn-in to get these cones moving a bit, so I might carry on, pump them with a bit of stuff, and I'd say bass, but you can't pump these with bass. So NS10s, when I plugged them in, I haven't had my NS10s on for ages, and suddenly I just thought, oh my god, it's my NS10s again. Love NS10s. Now, NS10s are very Marmitey, where you love them or you hate them. I personally love them because I'm old enough to remember when they were in every studio, so I kind of grew up using NS10s and working on them and learning them. At the time, people were saying you shouldn't do that if you're a mastering engineer, but I was really into, okay, I just want to get to know them. I want them to be part of my career, you know, so I know what NS10s sound like. They're really middly, obviously. They're really bright, around sort of 2K. They are all about the high mids for me. So it's all about listening to, when I plug these in especially, I haven't compared them to my ones. I think I remember mine having more bass on than these. These just sound really middly, no bass whatsoever at all, zero bass. That was always as well with NS10s. I found that when I was driving them from a Bryston amp, that always gave me a little bit more whack. And also if I had a desk in front of me, that gave me a bit more bass. And I think if I'm right in thinking about NS10s, that helped them out, having the reflections. Tell me in the comments. I'm sure there's plenty of NS10 geeks that know all about that. But I remember when I had them at Soundmasters, I had a big reflective desk in front of me and they sounded much bassier. But these ones in the open, in the flesh, driving them from the name amp, so driven from a great amplifier, they sound crystal clear in the mid-range. I mean, really pure sounding. If you just want to get your mids sounding great, these are brilliant reference to have, just because all you can hear really is the vocal in the center. That's all you're listening to. So once you've got that, and then you can like filter back from there, that's how you know that everything's working towards the focus of the vocal, rather than worrying about putting too much super highs on and super lows and what's going and what's moving. It's like pop music, rock music. It's okay, I can tune in to those frequencies that count and I can hear exactly what's going on and fine tune them. Then I can pop them out to my big speakers. I can hear the low end. I can hear the super highs. But really what I want to know is that the mids are working well. If they work well on NS10s, they usually work well on the mains. That's what I've always found anyway. I could tune up all the mids on an NS10, pop them to the mains, and they sound as good. And then I just fiddle with the low end, back on the 10s, and then out again. So great from that point of view. That's how I used to work with them for mastering. I might even get a set just to have, because when I've turned them on today and listened, I just thought, just to pop to those. I don't need them, but it's just nice to have. So yeah, pop them at the back of the room, spin round, listen on the NS10s, then turn around and listen to the vocals. Seems like a great time, doesn't it? So I don't know what else I can say really about NS10s. That's it. I'll bore you some more with part 2. Might not be next week, might be the week after. If you like this kind of chat, then please go to streaky.com, where I've got a newsletter. It comes out once a month at the start of the month. Please sign up there. I do giveaways. I get discounts from different manufacturers. I show you things that I can't show on YouTube, point you to different sites and sounds and things that I like and things I think will help you. Yeah, so go to streaky.com, sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye.